Enjoy your meeting. Just a reminder, today's meeting is being recorded.
So we're super excited. This is Ange Lehman. Thanks for joining us on this Living Well Now Wednesday Wisdom class. We're super excited. We already have 15 people listening in tonight. We're really grateful for your participation. This is a great opportunity we have to learn from our executives and above. And I'm going to let my mom introduce Sheila. And my mom, this is Deb Lehman, who is a platinum leader with Young Living. And also, we were just talking about a new title for her, that she's the founding mother of Living Well Now. And when you look at your virtual office and you see your dashboard, many of you will show Living Well Now as one of your top leaders. So that's my mom, Deborah Lehman, and I'm going to let her introduce to you Sheila.
Well, it is evening on the East Coast and afternoon here in Arizona. And I'm very excited today and blessed to have Sheila, Auter, and Sharla Weldy on our call tonight. I am very, very excited to introduce Sheila, and then she will in turn introduce Sharla tonight to you. Sheila is a long-term dear friend for me. Back in 1983 is when we first met, when Sheila was in college and I was living in the community of the college town. And so we got to meet and developed a close friendship. We were able to do small group together. Sheila is an amazing, devoted, faithful to her God, and just shares her faith and her heart and soul in everything she does. And that just says that she also leadership with her team in Indiana. One of the things that is very exciting for me for Indiana is a lot of you wonder how you can help support people in other states. And one of the things that's been very important to us is to duplicate, no matter where you live, to duplicate what Living Well Now is doing. And Sheila and Sharla have done that so well. Back to Sheila, I also wanted to share that in May of 13, we sat down first to discuss the business opportunity that was available to her and business leaders to consider Young Living as a business. And just to give you some timeline is that was May of 13. November of 13, she and Sharla and some of their business leaders put on an amazing opportunity, business class, health class, were hostesses to us when we came in for our first Indiana trip. And by June of 2014, she was an executive and a silver in July of 2014. And Sharla was an executive in September of 13, even before we came in November to do the class, and silver in October of 14 and gold in April of 15. So we are absolutely thrilled of how well they are duplicating and sharing their love and heart and soul with their growing teams in Indiana and all over the U.S. also. So Sheila, would you take time to introduce Sharla a little bit, please?
Sure. Woo. First of all, thank you. Thank you, my dear friend. That's great. And as I'm listening, I will tell all of you, I hear of where I am at this point, and there is no way that I would be at this point, being at silver and heading toward that next goal, without my sister Sharla. And what I never even dreamed, never. I mean, this was not even a dream of looking for a business partner or in a business, but what I was seeking, this is how God worked, I was seeking, desiring just deeper relationships, and one of them being with my sister. And so when I first told her about Young Living with the products. It was all about the products for us at the beginning. But she is definitely, for any of you know with Strength Finders, she is a wooer, which is an amazing thing. She just lets people, she is the life of the party in the sense of people gravitate toward her. She makes people feel so comfortable and good, and people trust her. And she's also a sapphire, for those of you who know what that means, and for that personality of motivated, motivated by that fun. And so she doesn't hold back. She, in a sense, she shares, and she did that. And so here is someone with a big heart for other people when they are in pain, especially. She's very discerning of that, and she doesn't put herself in the way of sharing a product or sharing an idea or sharing a thought or sharing a prayer. And so because of that, with no reservations and really not being fearful of that, wow, she is just recommending, sharing. And boy, so here we are. So I'm very grateful. And by the way, I will tell you, because she's quick to let everyone know she is the youngest. I am the oldest. And what's fun is there are 7 years between us. And that's been kind of cool, because me being done with college and then moving away from home, I didn't get to see her go through some of the high school years and that sort of thing. And so now we're back. I don't know. It really is a sister and a friend and a business partner kind of relationship. So it's great.
Great. Sharla, tell us a little bit about you and your journey with Young Living.
Wow, I need to wipe my tears away. That was, thank you. I am definitely a product user, and that's where the love came in for me 2 years ago when Sheila introduced it to me. I was working full-time. I own a business, my husband and I, and never was even looking for anything else. And actually, my husband had got laid off 7 years before that, and at that time, we really saw how God worked and brought people in our journey and on our path to help us financially. And I just knew that someday I wanted to be that person, to be able to do that for others. And God heard my cry out for that and my desire. And that's been, we'll talk probably about a vision and a why you do that. And that is part of my why. And I can do that with Young Living. And at the beginning, it really was about the product. And Sheila, bless her heart, she just kept saying, she was so she was coachable, and I was coachable. And I cannot tell you how important that is in this business. And so I love the product. I was seeing amazing results. And like they said, I am a sapphire. And I would share it with anybody. And that means, I could be at a grocery store or somewhere, and if I saw somebody hurting, I would be there to hand them a card or just to put oil on them. And but yeah. Sheila, I would just call her and I'd say, Sheila, I have people that want to know about more about the oils, and we would just set up a little area in I own a consignment store in a little area, and we would just invite people. And I told her, Sheila, I do not want to teach. I don't want to teach it. It was kind of funny because this past May, I did my first introduction by myself. So 2 years later, I did it by myself in May, and that was the day that I hit gold. So it was very special for me.
I didn't realize the timing of that, Sharla. That's amazing. That's God right there.
I never, ever did one by myself. And I was like, what do I have to lose? I have nothing to lose. And Sheila told me something. She said, Sharla, you do not have to teach. You sit down on the couch with everybody else and do it like you do one-on-ones. And once I got that out of my head, that I don't have to be a teacher, I don't have to teach. I just have to share my story. That was the difference for me. And right. So that's part of my journey. And at the beginning, the paycheck would come and it was paying for my products. And I was like, okay, that's great. And actually it was fantastic because especially financially where we were. And I remember when I hit silver, and that's when my husband saw the paycheck, and he's like, okay, what is this? And he started reading a lot of the third-party tools. The 4-year career plan, I looked over, and he starts reading. He was really getting into it. And I just always remember Sheila, too, saying, you know, at the very beginning, Sharla, who do you want to be in business with? And I didn't understand what that meant. I'm like, what do you mean? But now I get it. You know, like she said, who is someone you enjoy being around?
Yeah.
So I look at it differently now than I did 2 years ago. So that's kind of exciting to be able. It's really neat to see even 2 years ago, you know, the people that God brought on in our path and who He's bringing on our path now. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Sheila, tell us a little bit about what is your gym? Sharla said she's a sapphire. What's your gym? And then how does that, how do you and Sharla work well together? What are some of the things that go well for you two? And what are some maybe struggles that you have along the way?
Sure.
Because there are a lot of people who are fascinated by the bringing family on to be part of the team building together.
Sure. Well, so my personality is I'm motivated by serving. I'm motivated by, saving the whales kind of thing. There's just and injustice and wanting to help and wanting to teach truth and really faith is really important. That sort of thing. That's what a pearl is. Kind of that's what would describe me or how to describe me. Now, here's the interesting thing though. I mean, we knew none of that. I mean, we didn't understand what that really meant about the dynamics of when you take that your strengths can really be strengths for another person, and then where you are weak, another person can step in. I mean, of course, I knew that professionally. I understood, of course, that when I read it in a textbook, but to apply it to to my own relationships, and especially my sister who I've known all my life, it wasn't really what I was thinking. But here's the deal. For whatever reason, in some times, it's our family that we tend to not always edify. It's our family that we tend to not always be our best around. It's our family we don't tend to forgive quickly or communicate more quickly. It's like sometimes we're more worried about what other people think about us than what our family does. And thanks to many years, beginning in 1983 when I met Deb Lehman, on my path of learning about communicating and learning about just what it meant to honor other people, I think that has been always, it's like I saw other people do it well, and I wanted to do that well. And so it's been a long journey, don't get me wrong. I've had to work hard at it. But I think that the two of us, it was just something I definitely needed Sharla. I mean, I love the teaching part, so I was like, sure, I'll do that. You don't have to do anything else. You just just refuse your store and put it, put it on the calendar. And I will say to people who are listening, the thing about that, I mean, you have to just get your feet moving. Excuses will get in our way, and you will be surprised if you're really honest with yourself. You'll be surprised that there are certain things that you are saying to yourself or you're agreeing to that really are excuses. You may not think so, but that's what I've learned. And but don't let excuses stop you. And what was a good fit for us is that she kept me moving because she kept talking to people. So I felt like, well, we have to then have another intro. We've got to get this on the calendar. But that, don't get me wrong, both of us were at times, I know that there were times I was frustrated, I'm sure, and she gets frustrated with me. We don't understand, but always, we've always treated each other as you would if you were really working. I mean, I don't know, she's my business partner, and so we've allowed the healing to come that way. You have to be patient with whomever you work with. You have to seek to understand whomever you work with. And you have to be willing to say you're sorry at times, I think that's where we've gotten really good at, better at. And I so appreciate as I've seen Sharla grow. Oh, my goodness. Amazing. Here's the other thing. When people are hurting physically, it's really difficult to be their best otherwise, emotionally and otherwise. And So, that would be another time. Sharla has an amazing story physically of how she just really has come through and has helped heal herself, gotten her body to where it is much more stable and balanced and healthy. And because of that, she shines and she's more confident. All that comes through. And so I think that to remember that if with your team builders, that you're going to have frustrations. And sometimes, what is it when you point a finger, the three fingers that are pointing back at you, just always be willing to step back and ask yourself, okay, why do I feel frustrated? Could it be something about me? Because, I think that's just it. That really, it's not about us, it's not about me, and yet definitely I can get in the way. And
I really like that, because what you're talking about is personal development. That's a very important piece as we grow businesses. We can't fire our sister, or we can't fire our business partner.
Or our mom. We can't fire our mom or our daughter.
Right. And so how you, Sharla, if you don't mind sharing here a minute, I've shared with a couple of people, but you share so eloquently about your peeling back the onion. I really like that image for people, that how you've learned along the way in your personal development journey with that image, if you're willing.
Well, that's true. I have said this journey is definitely like an onion, that I'm peeling back those layers. And I have transformed. And I was a very moody person. I struggled with pain a lot in my body, and even was on a certain, a pill, used to say, and my body was so out of balance. And like Sheila said, when you are in pain, you can't be who God intended us to be. And I would find myself, when I'd have a breakthrough, just saying, you know what, that is the old self, this is the new self. And even just, it's that fear of wanting to look good and not screwing up. I don't know why that's installed into our brains, and it's okay to screw up. It's okay. And I can just say it's okay. But, oh golly, Deb, there's so many. It's interesting when time goes by, you kind of forget about those milestones that you kind of go through.
So but your vulnerability to peel back the onion, you feel has helped you to transform.
Oh, tremendously, yes.
Your willingness to look in the mirror and say, these are some things I really want to work on. Mm-hmm.
Definitely, and I feel that, and I feel like I can be now who I'm supposed to be, and I can help others who are stuck. They're just stuck, and it's okay. There is a better side of it, and when you keep peeling away, it is so worth it. It is so worth it, and the blessings that keep coming.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I still have a ways to go. I mean, we all have our moments, but I feel that, even it's so important to get our bodies into balance. And just what I was fueling my body with was so not good. And being able to work through that and peel that onion away, that layer, and to move forward and to heal some relationships that needed to be healed is another one. I had to work on some things that I had to say I'm sorry, and we'll probably get to that too about first step with Danny Johnson later.
I was just going to have you lead into that, Sharla, actually, because the forgiveness piece there and the personal development that happens when you plug into a system like Danny teaches and her leadership. And for those of you who aren't aware, we are huge supporters of our teams attending Danny Johnson's First Steps to Success. She was just in Cleveland in July, and Sharla and Sheila got to go. If you're on Facebook, the picture that is on this event for tonight actually is them at the conference, so pretty cool. So, again, that forgiveness piece, even probably you had some new insights at Danny Johnson.
Oh, my. And I only went because Sheila said, hey, do you want to go with me? And I heard the layman say, for the last year, you got to go see Danny. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, okay. I kept hearing it. And Sheila said, okay, she's coming. Are we going? And I'm a sapphire, so I'm like, hell yeah, we're going. Don't slow down. I'm just going for the ride. And I'm going to be honest. I went in that convention hall, and my arms were crossed. And I was closed off. And it took about 30 minutes. And then I got my booty smacked. It was like a smack in the face. It was, she speaks truth. And I had to peel that onion again. But what I went away with that, I highly, highly recommend every single person go. Guys, I went because I thought it was for my business. It was personal growth for me. And through that personal growth, my business has boomed in 2 weeks. It's only been 2 weeks since I've been home. The day I got home, the next day, literally, I had an email that someone, signed up, someone I hadn't talked to in 6 months. It's been like, and I kept hearing stories at Danny Johnson's of people talking, oh, this is doubled. I'm like, yeah, okay, really? I am still in just, I had to take some pride. I had to check my ego and and do some things. And when I did, and I checked my heart and got some, it's the little thing, like she said, when you're faithful in the little things, that's what it's all about. And guys, when it's about the little things, I mean, little, it could be as simple as, wanting to get into a music park and your daughter's 12 and they say, how old's your daughter? And you say, and she's 14 and you say she's 12. That's dishonest.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about, the little things. Be truthful and stay loyal to the little things. And guys, I'm serious. Wherever you guys see Danny coming, it is the best investment. And I say investment because it's into your personal growth and can help in so many areas of your life. I think my husband was like, oh, whoa.
Who just came home? Who left and who came home?
Yeah. And I had to even do some apologies to some family members. And so it was pretty powerful.
Well, and it goes back to supporting your why. And Sheila, I just want to, it's awesome that you're leading out with travel and going to events and kind of pushing forward. I remember last convention, I think you literally pushed Sharla to and through last year's convention. And just
even with the brake on.
I know, in a wheelchair nonetheless. And but that it takes somebody to get us, to push us there. And so physically, you have prioritized events, going to distance events. So you came out here to so first of all, convention in Salt Lake City, even going out to the farm on a really hot day in Mona, being able to bring that inspiration back to your team, coming here for Ignite and spending the weekend kind of soaking that in. You've hosted an amazing, every time we come to present in Indiana, it's a beautiful display. We had an amazing time there in Elkhart off the highway this last visit in April. And I think you see the value in traveling to promote your business and to bring people with you. Would you?
Yes, Sheila, tell a little bit about what you and Sharla just got back doing.
Oh, yeah, and you were just in Missouri.
Talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there's so much. Well, I will be honest because I want people out there too. I mean, we're talking 2 years ago when I had to just listen to my upline, and that was Deb, who was telling me, hey, that Danny Johnson's coming. Hey, Mind Masters. Other things. And you know what? It was being ready and open, but there were times I said no too, because it just you have to take time to think, what is the best for you at the time. But there's times to say yes, even when it's jump and risk and say, you know what, let's do this. And when you do invest like that in yourself, even going to intro after intro when you don't have someone else to bring along with you, or it's someone that's not even on your team, meaning like your ones or your down, but you could go to reach out and support, like Sharla, my sister, or someone on her team. I always benefit. It's really a mind thing. It's just being open be open to that. You can learn something anywhere, everywhere, all the time, and definitely, and also, when you feel stuck or you're not sure, just reach up. Deb has been so good for me. I will just reach out to her, but I don't want to disappoint her. So I will also say that at first I just did these things like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to follow directions. I don't know. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to follow directions because I trusted. And that's
the coachability that has been duplicated.
Yeah, that's true. So follow directions. That's being obedient. Be obedient. And you guys, it's amazing. So, but then we did get to do amazing things. So I don't know if Misty or Heidi or Sammy, if you're on, a shout out to you from Missouri. We have a downline through under Charlotte to our dear friend Angie, and they are building a team in Missouri. And so we duplicate what Deb and Andrea and Ange did to us coming our way a couple years ago. We said, let's come to you. And the best part about that, you guys, is we did nothing spectacular. It wasn't like we're doing anything better than they are. I think that was the best thing. I hope it was the best thing that they got out of it, is that, wow, so we are doing this right, because that's what we do, or that's what we say. And it's nothing any bigger and better. It's just we're just like on the timeline. We're a year behind on the timeline, and we're going to be where they are in a year, because if we just keep going, following directions,
keep your feet moving. Yep.
Yeah, keep your feet moving. And but it's great. It's great when when you look at your downline and you see a name. That's one thing. When you're on Facebook and you see their pictures, that's kind of the next step. But there's nothing like hearing their voice. So pick up the phone and call people. And then there's nothing like when you can look them in the eye and you can just really listen. So just that's what care calls really are. I think, like what Sheila was saying, there's so many things we heard at the beginning, phrases, that we just like, okay, whatever. And one of them was, make care calls. And I kind of thought I knew what that meant, and it just has taken on a whole another meaning. That care calls is really calling to care for another and just listen. And by listening, you may find a way then to help stretch them to that next part of introducing a new product, or asking them to come to, hey, well, we have a women's health workshop coming up next month. This sounds like something you might be interested in. And I would have never known that without just calling to, hey, how are you? And just listen. And so anyway, I just think that's pretty important too.
Thank you. Any last minute aha moments for either of you as we close up? Like, what are you most excited for on the journey to close our time today together? What's your passion? What's your excitement for this journey?
Well, this is Charla, and I think I touched a little bit about that when going through, in the Depression, when my husband lost his job and I was only working 2 days a week, and, opening the mail and there being a gift card to the local grocery store, or a gas card from a friend, with no name or whatever, or going to sign up our kids for school and their books be paid for. That was something that I knew right then and there that I wanted to do for people. And through this business, and that's part of my why. And now with Danny Johnson, just the debt-free, get debt-free. And it's not okay to live the way we're living, and teaching our children that it's okay to have debt. What do you go do when your kids, you go get your debit card, you go get your credit card. No. So teaching that, and traveling with my family. I see the Layman's doing this and their grandchildren, and that's pretty special. So that's a big part of my why, that, if I do have, those down days or lots of phone calls or messages, and I want to touch on this real quick too with Danny Johnson. I felt that, leading up to that, when my phone would go off, because when you do hit that next rank, when you go up, you do have to put more hours in. And I felt like I was complaining more. And wow, going through what I went through that weekend with Danny Johnson, that had to stop. And as soon as I was grateful for what I have and the position that I'm in, and that I can share this amazing product with people, that has changed for me. And I get excited now if somebody, has a question or whatever. But that's a struggle, guys, and it's another struggle when the end of the month, and then August 1st comes and we start at zero again. I get it. It's so like, oh my word, I got to start over. But then, you know, in 2 weeks, you know, but that's a great time to connect to those, to your down, you know, to your downline. That's a great time to what's the word I'm looking for? To those 2s and 3s, you know, get in there and
Taproot, yes.
Taproot, thank you.
Yes,
That's the word I'm looking for. That's a great time, guys. The first week is the taproot. So, so I encourage you, and then the momentum starts going again, and then it gets exciting again. And you know what? Don't find excuses. You know, I remember a girl got up, and Danny Johnson. The first thing she said is, "Well, I'm only 24," and that's an excuse. So, and don't, you know, oh, everybody's already taken. You know what? No, they're not. There are so many people out there hurting, and you know, and the product, guys, is amazing, as you can tell.
And I think that's good for mine, and that would be mine too. That's good. Is that just to help? There's so many people hurting, and I'm excited to help develop people in the skills it takes to even be an entrepreneur and to lead, to have a business like this. Is just life-changing in your family, in your future. And so if that's what I can do, I mean, that's been my big why. And I hope to, I love the journey that it's extending to my adult children and including, and this is something we can do as a family, as I watch you, the Layman's do, founding mother. I love that. I think that to me is a big why. So, and we're grateful. Both of us are so grateful to you.
And we likewise are so grateful for you two tonight to share with us, to take time, and so excited being on the journey with you, and looking forward to being in Dallas, Texas area with you next in the next week or so, and continuing to share the love, the oily love. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Sheila.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, girls. See you soon.
Okay.
Bye. Yeehaw! Awesome.